from there, that man who's buried in that grave is going to come out at night and is going to choke you in the middle of the night. So don't touch the branch. Don't touch the leaves. It's haram. I thought to myself, wow, where did they get this idea from? They say to me, there's a prophet in there. I went to look at the grave. Wallah, you won't believe it. The grave is like from here to... I measured it one time. It was about 4.5 meters long. There was another one in my mother's village, because my mum comes from another village, you see, and they call him Sheikh Yunus. And there's another one called Nabi, Prophet Marmar. I've heard of that name in the Christian villages. And Sheikh Yusha, or Nabi Yusha, Joshua. Their graves are like 7 meters long. Maybe they were that big, I don't know. But nobody knows what's really buried in there. What's up with these graves? They go there, wallahi. I'm talking because I had cousins and relatives and friends. I see with my eye. I'm 13, 14 years old. What do I know? Go up there. They got matchsticks. Wallah. And they put stuff on paper. They burn the paper and put its ashes in little holes in that grave. I go, subhanallah. When I saw what the Jews do, I thought, wow. As the Prophet ﷺ said, لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ سَنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. You will follow the traditions of those who were before you. حَذْوَ الْقَذَّةِ بِالْقَذَّةِ. Step by step, foot by foot, right behind them. حَتَّى وَلَوْ دَخَلُوا جُحْرَ ضَبٍّ لَدَخَلْتُمُ. Even if they were to, Rasul ﷺ being he's sarcastic here, even if they were to enter the hole of a lizard, you would follow them. قَالُوا الْيَهُودُ وَالنَّصَارَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ قَالَ فَمَنْ. They said, are you talking about the Jews and Christians that were going to follow them like that, Ya Rasulullah? He said, who else? Really? You look at a lot of customs and traditions we have, knock on wood. Today, I met a Muslim. I didn't know he was a Muslim at first. He said, Wallah, my father has this. I'm not going to say the full story, maybe someone might know him, but he's talking about something his father has and it's lasted all this time. I said, knock on wood. I thought it's some Greek or something, because Greeks do it to you. Christian, Catholic, Orthodox, they do it. And I remember, and I found that he's a Muslim. Now, I'm not going to pick on him because I have cousins and relatives who do it too. Knock on wood. That's like to keep the jealousy away so no one can give you the eye. Do you know what knock on wood came from? It came from an ancient idolatry tradition where they believe, these people believe that, this religion believes that souls of dead people, good spirits, go into trees, into forests. And they used to go and get blessings off the trees. They used to they used to touch them, knock on them. And so you see they say knock on wood for blessings. This is shirk. And they take their children to those graves, as I saw in my village, my dad's village, and they bring their sick children. They're ill and they bring them there and they pray. They pray to Allah, but at the grave, thinking that this person in the grave is going to be the intermediary between them and God. This is exactly what the Christians and Jews do in their religion, for those of you who study it. They make intermediaries to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I entered one of the graves, one of those places, and I saw an old woman with her 2 daughters taking off their shoes before they entered into the wall surrounding the grave. And they had musallaya, like the sujood, like this one, the prayer mat. They put it there and they started to pray, to them it was more holy than the masjid itself. And what are they praying for? I asked them, what are you praying for? They said, we're praying so that Allah can give us blessings because of the good deeds of this man who is here, this prophet. Allahu Akbar. I remembered the ayah in the Quran. See, the people of Nuh, their actions went all the way to the people of Quraysh. People of Quraysh, the Arabs who worship the idols, went all the way there. Wad Suwa, Yaghuth, Ya'uq, and Nasr existed from that time and went all the way, this is according to a Sahih Hadith which I mentioned last week, and went all the way to the people of Quraysh. And they added on top of them Al-Lat, Wal-Uzza, and the others, and Hubal, and those other names. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down a verse in the Quran saying, why do you worship them? In other words, and their response was like this: إِنَّمَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفًا. We are only offering our worship to these idols because of what they represent, in order to bring us closer to Allah. In order to bring us closer to Allah. So they were really worshipping Allah, but they had to make them as their intermediaries. Allah called them mushrikun. Now, back to the people of Nuh. This is exactly what they did. Generation after generation, the shaitan was able to convince their children with a little bit more salt and pepper, as if you like. A little bit more salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of spices over here, and turned it into idolatry. They started to worship these statues. He said, your forefathers used to worship them. Why don't you worship them as well? Surely your forefathers wouldn't have had them here if it wasn't for their importance. And so they began to give them offerings and pray to them, my dear brothers and sisters. They worshipped idols which they carved with their own hands. There's a little joke that Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu once made. It was a tradition, not a tradition, but like just a this get-together with the Prophet ﷺ after each Fajr prayer. They'd sit, and within